Okay guys, so a few days ago I made a video on the work in progress balance changes for July. We now have the finalized balance changes, and since the work in progress ones, there have been a few changes to some of the specific cards getting balanced, and there's even another nerf being added to it. So I wanted to talk about those changes in today's video, talk about the community reaction to those balance changes, and then get into some more things going on inside of the Clash Royale community on Reddit. So the Goblin Curse nerf is the exact same, but I'll just talk about it again briefly for those of you guys who didn't see my last video on the balance changes, or for those of you guys who didn't see the balances elsewhere. The radius was nerfed by 25%, so now it's going from 4 tiles to 3 tiles. The damage multiplier is being nerfed by 43%, going from 35 to 20. Now guys, the Goblin Demolisher is actually getting a third nerf added to him. So like I mentioned before, the death damage radius is being nerfed by 17%. It's going from 3 tiles to 2.5. The death damage itself is being nerfed by 13%, going from 465 to 404. But now there's a hit speed nerf of minus 8% added, going from 0.909 to 0.833, because they figured the 2 nerfs was not enough. So now there's 3, and this card, as you guys can imagine, is going to be significantly worse now. Now the Goblin Machine is only getting 2 nerfs instead of 3, because in the work in progress balance changes, they were originally going to nerf its rocket, but they decided to not go through with that because they figured it would be a little too overkill. So now it's getting only the 15% hit points nerf and the first hit time increase of 150%. And like I already mentioned before, both the Prince and the Ram Rider are getting their charge distance increased by 33%, going from 1.5 to 2 tiles. And like I've mentioned before, the Evolved Wizard is having his shield hit points reduced by 20%, going from 371 to 296, so now this is going to be enough for arrows to take it out. But now, the Dagger Duchess nerf is a little different than the one in the work in progress balance changes. So originally, only her depleted hit speed was nerfed. As you can see here, it's nerfed by 7%. It's 0.800, and now it's going to 0.741. But it's getting a second nerf added to her, where her burst hit speed is being reduced by 22%. So now it's going from 2.86 to 2.22. I do believe finally with these 2 nerfs, the Dagger Duchess might not be that much stronger than the Princess Tower anymore. In fact, now the Princess Tower might finally be slightly better than her. And this is a whole nother nerf that got added to the finalized balance changes. The Tesla, it wasn't even on the work in progress balance changes, but they felt like it has just been way too strong recently. By far the best building in the game. So they have decided to nerf its damage by 4%, going from 230 to 220. But surprisingly, guys, this changes so many interactions, which I'm going to explain afterwards. So now it's going to be a massive difference, the things that the Tesla isn't able to kill anymore. And then on top of that, the hit speed is being nerfed by 8%, going from 0.909 to 0.833. And also, this directly nerfs the Evolved Tesla too, because the Evolved Tesla is also going to be dealing less damage and having less of a hit speed. But of course, the pulses that the Evolved Tesla has aren't going to be affected at all by these nerfs. So the Evolved Tesla is still, of course, going to be very strong, but it's still going to be worse because of the regular Tesla stats getting nerfed. Alright guys, let's get into some other people's opinion of the balance changes and a couple specific interaction changes of the Tesla, which you can see here in this guy's comment. Why are we nerfing the base Tesla instead of just the evolution? It won't be able to one-shot minions or spirits now. That's very significant because it means lava minion decks are going to do so much better against Tesla now. And if you have a spirit, it's actually going to be able to connect to the Tesla before it died before. And if it's something like a fire spirit, that could be massive, dealing all that extra damage to it. They could have decreased the range of the pulse or decreased the pulse damage again. This is so unnecessary. If the Tesla nerf is too big, they could just revert one of the changes, I think. I still think it's going to be the go-to cycle building. And I agree with this because it's the only building that hits air. With how good Lava and Balloon is at the moment, I still think Tesla is going to be played quite a lot, especially with how good the evolution is. I'm not ready for a Lava meta. And yeah, Lava is going to be better. Technically, it's getting an indirect buff because of the Tesla nerf. Dagger Duchess completely destroyed, and I agree, Princess Tower I actually think is going to be better now, but that's probably debatably a good thing. Bro, literally no one uses the Ram Rider. Why? I agree with this. I don't know why the Ram Rider got the same nerf as the Prince. I think the Ram Rider was fine staying how she was, Void nerf is missing, Lava's still broken, and yeah, Void should have been included on the balance changes as well, so I ultimately agree with what most people are saying here. Alright guys, let's get into what's been going on inside of Clash Royale Reddit. This is actually still staying on the topic of balance changes. This is one of the top posts of the week. It's specifically talking about the Skeleton Army. Skarmy has no purpose. It was one of the first epic cards players could get. The goal of Skarmy was to teach players how to counter tanks and mini tanks effectively, as well as to keep track of an opponent's cycle in order to save your small spells such as Zap and arrows to deal with it so your push doesn't get destroyed. Now Skarmy isn't unlocked until P.E.K.K.'s Playhouse, which is Arena 5, making new players not learn how to deal with Skarmies early on. Skarmy truly has no home or place in any deck. Guards and Goblin Gang and even regular Goblins are way better than the Skarmy. Skarmy dies to every small spell in the game, while the other swarms do not. You get punished for playing Skarmy now thanks to the Goblin spell, making the already useless card a useful card if you want to lose a game. I guess that's kind of true when you think about it. This card, as well as a shit ton of other cards, need serious attention and love in order for them to stand out. However, it probably won't happen since Supercell spends so much time focused on Evos and balancing the new broken-ass cards. Yeah, I agree with this entirely, and it kind of makes me wonder why there's so many of these cards that have been weak for the longest time. Skarmy's a card in my tier list I always put in D or F tier every single time, and there's some other cards you could say kind of go along with this that fall in the same category, like the Skeleton Barrel, for example, or even the Witch, just cards that have been weak for a long time. Barbarian Hut, and they seem to focus on nerfing broken cards or buffing new cards that just came out that are weak because maybe they're more focused on that, but I feel like they do tend to forget about these cards, so I really like this post from this guy. Another highly upvoted post this week: are they that desperate for players? It's been about 4 years since I've logged into this account for reference, and he says maybe 6, so it could have been 6. Who knows if it was 4 or 6? That's a pretty big time range. So it says, hello, Dastan. We've noticed it's been a while since you've logged on to Clash Royale, and we miss having you as a part of the community. If you continue to be inactive, your progress will be deleted on 2024. Okay, so this is July. I think, yeah, July 27th, 2024. If you would like to keep your progress, simply download the game and log into the game with your Supercell ID. Use the same email address you received this email in to log in. So yeah, I mean, technically they do have the right to delete your account. It's somewhere in the terms of service. I mean, it's their game, so they're allowed to do that. It's probably something having to do with data, where they don't want to save data from people that are inactive just because it's a waste of space. That's my guess, at least, but definitely interesting because I've never seen this pop up ever before. I got charged 2 times for the pass. What can I do? I'm going through my bank statements and noticed a duplicate charge from Apple on the same day, so I checked my purchase history and found this: separate order numbers and confirmed to be charged twice on my bank card. Has this happened to anyone else, and what can I do? So you can clearly see in the picture both of these are from June 3rd, so he indeed was charged twice, and he blurred some of the order number, but some of it's visible and it is different. So yeah, I mean, I have to say, I've never seen that before. I think probably his best bet is contacting Supercell support in-game, but we know how Supercell support is in-game, so we likely know there's a high chance that doesn't work. So I would say calling Apple is probably the best solution in this scenario, maybe trying to get one of them refunded, because he did pay for it legitimately, and it looks like he was charged twice, which was a mistake. Either way though, guys, I think I'll call the video here. Hope you guys ended up enjoying it. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you guys are not subscribed already. You can also use creator code BOSS to support me in any Supercell game, and thank you again until next time, guys.